No. 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 I didn't think so. Wake up! You're bleeding.
Welcome back to Remake Rumble. This week, as you can see, Nightmare on Elm Street. So, obviously, the ones being pitted are 1984 versus the 2010 remake. Now, I know people loathe the 2010 remake. I personally don't hate it. Now, do I think it has its problems? 100%. As I'll get into throughout this Remake Rumble, I think they were onto something, but they just don't stick the landing, as you can see if you've seen the movie. Before we get into all that, hello everybody, welcome to Tie Town Reviews, week 2 of Remake Rumble. Let's get into it. We're going to start, a little info, little this in this corner, this in that corner. So first up, Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984, Wes Craven's classic slasher. Several Midwestern teens fall prey to Freddy Krueger, a disfigured midnight mangler who preys on teenagers in their dreams, which in turn kills them. After investigating the phenomenon, Nancy begins to suspect that a dark secret kept by her and her friends' parents, not them, their parents, may be the key to unraveling the mystery. But can Nancy and her boyfriend Glenn solve the puzzle before it's too late? Now, I'm going to get into the story in a little bit because I do story versus story, but classic. I mean, it's a classic. It's something that hasn't been done to death, I don't think, especially with the whole dream killer thing. Numerous sequels you see behind me, plus the remake right here. It's within its own franchise. So, is it cliche? I think it's unique, especially for this franchise. The killer's unique. I know Black Phone 2 is coming out, and supposedly he's a little bit more Freddy Krueger-esque. And then you have Stranger Things Season 4 with Vecna, and Vecna is very Freddy Krueger-esque. They even have Freddy Krueger himself cameo as Vecna's father. Still unique to this franchise because those pull it off well. I haven't seen Black Phone 2, so I guess I shouldn't say they both do. Stranger Things pulls it off pretty well, but it's just not quite the same. Because Vecna sends them into a trance, whereas Freddy gets them while they're asleep. Now, they're hopeless in both, but anyways, for the most part, this is unique to this franchise, kind of was my point. Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. Teenagers Nancy, Quentin, Chris, Jesse, and Dean are all neighborhood friends who begin having the same dream of a horribly disfigured man who wears a tatted sweater and a glove made of knives. The man, Freddy Krueger, or you hear him referenced as Fred in this movie. His human form is referenced as Fred in flashbacks and stuff. But anyways, Freddy Krueger terrorizes them in their dreams, and only escape is to wake up. So, let's get ready to rumble. The main event. We've got cast versus cast. We've got story versus story. Horror action kills versus horror action and kills. Last two, the final girls versus final girls, and killers versus killers. Again, I know the remake has its problems. Some of you may not have liked my Friday the 13th, the way I delved out points or who was the winner, but that's what comments are for. I am always open to conversation. I'm always open to hearing other people's points of view. Again, this is my opinion. You have yours. Please share it in the comments. So first up, cast versus cast. We'll go through 1984, then we'll go through 2010. And I'll give my thoughts, just like last time. You have Marge Thompson, played by Ronnie Blakely, best known for her role in this, as well as Robert Altman's Nashville. Donald Thompson, played by the John Saxon, He is a legendary actor with over 200 credits to his name. He's best known for Nightmare on Elm Street, Enter the Dragon, and Black Christmas. Already a name I'm going to struggle with Rod Lane being played by Jesus Garcia, also known as Nick Corey, I believe is how you say that. Best known for his role in Nightmare on Elm Street, but today is a producer and runs Scott J.R. Productions. Tina Gray, played by Amanda Weiss, best known for her role as Lisa in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Glenn Lance, played by Johnny Depp, best known for his role as Captain Jack Sparrow. We all know Johnny, whether it's legal troubles recently or from one of his numerous legendary roles. He is a great actor, always fun to watch, always interesting to watch. But he's best known for Captain Jack Sparrow, of course, along with hundreds of other roles. I mostly know him, besides Pirates of the Caribbean, I mostly know him from Sleepy Hollow. That was probably the first thing I ever saw him in. One of the first real horror movies I watched. Horror, I know it's not like super scary or whatever, but one of the first real horror movies I watched. So that's what I always recognize him from, that or, of course, Pirates. Anyways, enough about Johnny. The final girl, Nancy Thompson, played by Heather Langenkamp. Best known for her role on Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and other notable credits in the horror genre. She's also a major producer now. And, of course, my favorite channel, Dead Meat. She married James and Chelsea, who run that channel. Whether it's interviews or things I've read, she seems like top-notch person and somebody I for sure would love to meet. All right, 2010, Chris Fowles, played by Katie Cassidy, most notably known for her role as Black Canary in CW show Arrow, as well as being known for Supernatural and Gossip Girl. I know her from Supernatural. Arrow's not something I really got into. Smallville was my big Superman or DC show that I really got into and really still am into. So I never saw her on Arrow. But Supernatural for sure. And then, yes, I've seen some of Gossip Girl, and I've seen her in Gossip Girl. Okay, Dean Russell, played by Kellen Lutz, or Keelan Lutz. I think it's Kellen. Best known for playing Emmett in the Twilight franchise. Never realized that was him. The numerous times that I've seen this movie, and the numerous times I've watched the Twilight franchise with my wife, I've never connected that was the same guy. I don't know if it's because he's more like bulked up in Twilight, but never put it together. We have Jesse, played by Thomas Dekker. He's known for his time as John Connor in the Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show. Alan Smith, played by Clancy Brown, known for his numerous villain roles, as well as his role as Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob. Pet Sematary 2. I won't get into that next week when I do Pet Sematary versus Pet Sematary. But Pet Sematary 2 is what I really know him from. That, and I believe, unless I'm remembering wrong, I believe he's in Starship Troopers in a somewhat not huge role, but he's in Starship Troopers as well. Dr. Gwen Holbrook, played by Mrs. Taylor herself, Connie Britton. Multiple award winner, best known for Spin City, West Wing, American Horror Story, and of course, as I've just referenced, Friday Night Lights as Coach Eric Taylor's wife. Quentin Smith, played by Kyle Gallner, best known for playing Bart Allen on Smallville and Casablanca in Veronica Mars. Now, I've not watched Veronica Mars, so I didn't even know he was in that. Obviously, seen him play Bart Allen on Smallville. He's also most recently been in the Smile franchise, and he's done quite a few other horror projects. I think he's starting to find his niche, and I really want to see more of him. The final girl, Nancy Holbrook, played by Rooney Mara, best known for her role in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and most recently, Nightmare Alley in 21. Overall, both casts have their moments. While as a whole, 1984's cast was the most believable as friends, the remake, it's more like they're a group of kids who go to the same school, don't really know each other, they're not built up as friends, so there's not as much there's not as much true shared trauma when one of them passes away. And so 1984 is getting that point to the original. Story. All right. Story. 1984. Group of friends being stalked and killed in their dreams by a maniac who also hunted them and other children while alive until parents got together and killed him by burning him to death, and the legal system failed them. 2010. Group of kids hunted down in their dreams by a maniac who wants revenge for what ends up being their parents hunting him down, trapping and killing him by burning him to death after they couldn't prove that he was messing with the kids or hurting them. Story for the longest time insinuates that maybe, just maybe, Fred Krueger was innocent and the parents killed an innocent man, thus being why he's seeking this revenge. But unfortunately, they go the full circle of saying, no, he assaulted them as well. Remake has its issues. I've said that a couple times already. They mix up characters, at least as far as character names go, from other movies, just like Friday the 13th did back in 2000 in the 2009 remake. They tried to mix up the motive for Freddy, but they don't stick the landing. I believe they should have made him actually innocent. I think that would have pushed the story over and made the movie a lot better, and it would have been much better received. But nonetheless, they made him a child murderer, they made him a child harmer, they made him a pedo, if you will. Point goes to the original. I'm sorry. You're not going to try to make me feel bad for Freddy and not stick the landing. We're not doing it. Horror, action, and kills. Now again, like I said last week, I bunched these together because I'm not going to get deep into all of it. That is not what this channel is, or that's not what this series is. This series is just pitting them against each other. We're not going to go deep into the best kill, the worst kill, all that. So, for what this is, 1984 has amazing tension, feels like a classic horror movie. In several rewatches, the action is kind of meh overall, but the tension doesn't let up. Even though you know what's going to happen, the movie was so well made that despite the actual action in the film being kind of meh, and I'm not talking about the kills. I am not talking about the kills. Kills and action are not the same thing, not in horror. It's really just them kind of scuffling around, running around. There's no real action there. 2010 does a lot better job of that. But as far as overall horror and overall kills, 1984. In 2010, the tension is weak, minus a single scene, one of Chris's nightmares, specifically, I believe, the first nightmare she has, where she's in the attic. That is probably the best tension scene in the whole movie, and that's not even saying much. But regardless, action was slightly better overall. Like I said, there's a car crash. There's a unique implementation of micro naps, making it an issue, so he can get them even while they're awake. And I thought that was really neat. But again, there's so many other issues that just go against 2010. Point original. The Final Girls. Okay, we're going to go over the Final Girls. Nancy Thompson from 1984. Capable, inventive, smart, fiery, and strong. After finding out she can bring things out of her dreams, she decides to pull Freddy out and fight him and have her dad arrest him, or at least that was her plan. So, 2010, Nancy Holbrook, whether it's the writing or it's Rooney Mara or both, there's several instances where it's come out that Rooney Mara ended up not wanting to make this film, but kind of was just held to it because of contracts. And it shows. She looks bored in the movies. Some of her scared acting is okay, but ultimately she looks bored and like she doesn't want to be there, and that takes away from it. Quentin pulls most of the weight and just makes her very meh. I think the wrong actress was cast to play Nancy. Should have been played by Katie Cassidy. Would have been written the same way if Katie Cassidy had been cast, obviously, but I think it would have been acted better. Point goes to the original. All right, The Killers. This one's going to get me in trouble. I'm just kidding. The Killers, 1984. Freddy Krueger, played by the legend himself, Robert Englund, wasn't the original choice, but made it his own, took the role, and it seems like nobody can step into it now. He's scary, he's creepy, and at times funny in later films. His slouch to one side to show how heavy his bladed glove is iconic, and I can't see anyone beating him in this role. 2010, Fred Krueger, or Freddy, played very respectably by Jackie Earle Haley. While he does unfortunately get pinned down literally by the writers as the pedo Freddy, he does movie villains well. Talking about the actor, he does movie villains well. He was fantastic as Rorschach. Is that how you say that? From The Watchmen. I think he has, me personally, I believe he has a good Freddy Krueger in him. Will he come back to the role? 99% chance no. But with a better director and a better script, I think he has a good Freddy in him, and I think this film had potential, but unfortunately. Anyways, point to the original. And the winner by absolute knockout, or for my Mortal Kombat fans out there,
flawless victory goes to the original 1984 Nightmare of Elm Street.
Alright, before I go, I want to say the remake, I do like the remake, and I do respect what they attempted. But ultimately, they do not stick the landing. Should have made him innocent. Had they made him innocent, the movie, I think, would have been received better. And ultimately, would have not made you root for Freddy so much, but I think just making him a pedophile was the wrong move. I know there's some innuendo, and possibly that was part of the original plan for him in the original film, but they never go there. They don't. There's stories on why. Go out and find it in different documentaries, but they didn't go that far. And the movie, I think, wouldn't have been received as well. I think the original wouldn't have been received as well. Even today, you can't do that, man. Ruin the movie, ruin any chance it had by doing that story. But despite those issues, I do like the movie. I mean, obviously, the whole pedo thing just makes you want Nancy to win even more. They didn't do what they set out to do. And it's unfortunate because I think there was a good movie in there somewhere. But anyways, like I said, winner goes to the original Nightmare on Elm Street. It was never even going to be a competition. I just wanted to do this because I like this franchise. Next week, Pet Sematary versus the 2019 remake Pet Sematary. Might be a little closer than some think. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Bad, Steve. Anyways, goodbye, everybody. Thank you again for watching this remake rumble of Nightmare on Elm Street. Hopefully you agreed with some of my points. If you didn't, again, please comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and then also, we are on everything, as you can see on this slide here. We are on YouTube, of course. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. And we're now on Spotify. If you've been listening to the Town Meeting podcast, our 2 episodes we've put out already are on Spotify, as well as Patreon. We're on Patreon now. I just fixed the prices for Patreon. We are now $1, $5, and $25 tiers. Please go check those out. And so I can start working on some perks for everybody. Please, everyone, come back on Tuesday for Who Lit That Candle? A podcast between me and my sister Jillian. We're going to be discussing Hocus Pocus. Be blessed, everyone.